Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching. As you can see, I'm not here by myself today. I've got Pastor Brennan with us. Brennan's one of my colleagues here at Dalhousie Church. We pastor together, and it's a great honor and love serving with this guy. This last week, we actually started a new teaching series called Love Requires, and it's a journey through the Enneagram. And so we're looking at personality types and how they view the world and see each other, etc. But we're also applying the prism of love requires because each of us are called to love and to bring our best to culture and society, et cetera. And so what does that look like for each personality type? Like I said, we began this series last week. If you haven't watched it yet, you can go to my YouTube page, Shane Woodleaf, and check out the full teaching there. But today we've got some new information for you. So we want to continue this conversation around personality, right? And so really I think we have to deal with the question, first of all, what shapes our personalities?
That's right. So when we think about who we are as individuals, we can't ignore the fact that we've been shaped by different life experiences, different traumas, different events, right? And the people around us. Mm-hmm. And so when we actually get to a point of recognizing Scripture and learning to look inward and develop our own character and individuality, we can't help but see Scripture through our own worldview, our own lens. And that has been shaped by all those things that I just mentioned.
Okay. So then I'm going to take from what you're saying there this idea that we're always bringing something to Scripture when we read it. We're not coming as a blank slate. We have some preconceived ideas, preconceived ways of viewing the world, viewing ourselves, viewing our other people.
That's right.
When we come to Scripture. So I guess this is maybe a question I shouldn't have to ask. So is it possible for us to come to Scripture and see it through a blank slate with no preconceived? Is that possible?
No, I personally, I don't think it's possible.
Okay.
We are always going to encounter things in life with preconceived notions or some type of bias, and Scripture is not excluded from that. Anytime that we engage with the Bible or any other material for that matter, we're always going to apply our own experiences to what we read. It's the reason why someone like you might read a passage of Scripture and you're going to get something different out of it than I will. Well, why is that? That's because you and I have both gone through very different things. And so there's going to be pieces in Scripture that will speak uniquely to us as individuals. And that's what makes it so powerful.
And I think what Brennan just said is really important because I think some of us are unaware sometimes that we bring preconceived ideas to Scripture. We bring our own personality to Scripture. And so sometimes what happens, especially I think that happens in churches, and it's an unfortunate thing, is that sometimes we almost want people to think like we think.
That's right.
See what we see and maybe view Scripture the same way we do. But I think it's a positive thing that we all bring a variance, all bring uniqueness in the way we read it, encounter, experience it. And I think the body becomes richer because of that. So I think it's really important for all of us to take time to recognize that, you know what, I do bring some ideas, some preconceived ways of viewing the world to Scripture, and it's important for us to recognize that. I think secondly, what we have to look at is, this idea of personality, and the Enneagram, breaks it down. Now, you gave 3 quadrants, if I can say this, to the Enneagram. Can you bring those out again?
Yeah, so within the Enneagram, right, if you look it up, you have 9 different numbers, 9 different types of individuals within that. So your numbers 2, 3, and 4, those are individuals that are ruled by their heart. 5, 6, and 7s, those are ruled by their head. And then 8, 9s, and 1s are ruled by their gut.
Okay, so I'm an 8, and so I'm in the gut area.
Yep.
And I'm a challenger. And so what a challenger is, according to the Enneagram, is usually those are people that are people of vision, people of action. They want to bring change to the world. They want to make the world a better place, a positive place when we're high functioning. And so when I read Scripture, when I come to Scripture, I'm bringing that to it. So I'm going to notice all the amazing things
Exactly.
that Jesus did, that the disciples did, that the church did, and how it was this progressive, and this is important for me, culturally relevant movement that makes the world a better place. And so I'm going to see that. I'm going to read that in Scripture. That's my default, and that's not bad. However, Brennan, you're a 2.
I'm a 2. I see Scripture a little differently.
Yep.
And I also identify with Scripture and recognize characters differently. You know, for me, I love reading through the prophets. I love reading through some of the New Testament characters and the stories where people are just serving and helping, because that's my identity. I love to help. And so when I see, you know, in Scripture, these stories of individuals going out and just assisting, helping Israel reconcile with Jesus and reconcile with their Creator, you know, that's a powerful thing that speaks to me, right? And again, one thing I want to point out that I think is crucially important, our ability to actually realize our own bias or our influence in reading Scripture, when we reveal that, it doesn't weaken our faith, it makes it stronger.
Exactly.
Right? And so when we actually are aware of how our Scripture and our faith is influenced, we can then grow beyond that. Right? And we also have the ability to engage with others and actually hear how they see Scripture.
Right.
Because so often when others say, oh, I didn't get that, I got this from Scripture, our natural, mechanism might be to be a little defensive and say, oh, that's not what Scripture says. But if it speaks that to you, then there's a truth to that.
Right.
And I need to be in a place where I can listen to that and learn from that.
And we're enriched by it. Right?
Very much so. Very much so.
So I'm really hoping that we can see here that there is this ability to read things, see things differently, and it doesn't make it right or wrong. Very rarely is it about right or wrong when it moves outside of core issues, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so I think we can all become enriched in our faith, enriched in our community. We can see great diversity and how Jesus actually embraced diversity, and I think we're all better for it. And so I just want to encourage you, please go check out the teaching if you haven't done that so far. It's not long. It's about 30-something minutes, and it'll give you a great introduction to the Enneagram. And over the next weeks, we're going to be focusing on concepts and ideas around the Enneagram in these midweek videos that hopefully will make life for you better and more enriched. So thank you for taking time to watch this. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday as we're talking about
the heart.
The heart.
Talking about the heart.
Talking about the heart this week. So we could probably come up with some cheesy music even about the heart.
Oh, I'm sure we could find a couple.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thank you for your time. God bless.